They were a group of eloquent young men led by romantic women. The Girondists were representatives of the bourgeoisie class and were indecisive between democratic measures of action and dangerous opposition towards the royalists. The Girondists didn't believe in violence to sort revolutionary change and problems. The Girondists dreaded the violence and instead imposed the Doctrinaire of Republic. The Doctrinaire of Republic was a constitutional doctrine to place France under a republic rather than a monarch. The Girondists were made up of intellectuals. They consisted of middle-class lawyers and well-educated people. One of the main Girondin political opponents was the Paris Commune. The Paris Commune of 1789 to 94 was a governing body elected by all 48 provisions of Paris. The majority of their members consisted of bourgeoisie. Like the Girondists, the Paris Commune sought a republic control of France, although the Paris Commune played a part in the downfall of the Girondists, and the Jacobins were the main rival of the Girondist party. The Jacobins were societies that consisted of politically minded Frenchmen who had the backing of the population and about 420,000 members and 900 clubs in France. The Jacobins later became known as Jacobin clubs. The backing of the population of France was a strong factor in the political power of the Jacobins. The Jacobins supported the execution of King Louis XVI, and when the Jacobins eventually took control of France, they turned and they terrorized the provinces with mass murders of the Reign of Terror and waged a war against the church by burning churches and imprisoning clergy members. The Jacobins were so powerful with these numbers and support enabling to knock off all political competition during the downfall of the French monarchy. The Girondists were well known for their disbelief in violence, anarchy, and lawlessness. They sought a very peaceful way of creating change into society via the use of doctrines and political change. Madame Roland played a major role in upholding the Girondist objectives of establishing a republic form of government in France. Madame Roland, aged 38, was when she joined the Girondist party and believed in bringing liberty to the people of France. She successfully ruled in the Girondin party due to her political beliefs coincided with the Girondin beliefs. Madame Roland was given the position Minister of the Interior. Her power as minister gifted Roland an ability to threaten King Louis XVI's representation of the French monarchy through the political and the vulnerable time of 1792 during the French Revolution. On the 21st of June 1792, she issued a letter to the king pledging him to his loyalty and compliance to the new republic, otherwise he would face the consequences of civil unrest within the population. This letter was considered the peak of Madame Roland's political influence. Roland's pride and passion and intelligence made her equal in accomplishment of any male politician at the time. This made Roland a strong feminist. She believed in the intelligence of the woman. However, Madame Roland and her husband became unpopular and were arrested for treason for betraying her gender in order to fulfill political action. Roland and other Girondists were also arrested. Roland would face 5 months of imprisonment that would allow her to write 5 memoirs that reflected her studies of passions, policy, and involvement in support of the Republic in France. Roland was killed via the guillotine on the 8th of November 1793. In 1795, after the revolution was finished, Madame Roland's memoirs were published and played a historical role in preserving the influence of the formation of a French Republic. Charles Francis Dumouriez provided a strong platform of support for the Girondist party. Dumouriez was a French general. On the 15th of March 1792, he was appointed Minister of Foreign Affairs in Cherbourg, and later achieving high royal ranks in foreign and military ministry positions. When his pay was cut, he moved to Paris and became involved in political turmoil of the revolution. Dumouriez was a powerful leader during his involvement with the Girondists and the French Revolution. He was politically and military minded, allowing him to drift in and out of royal and revolutionary roles. Dumouriez was appointed foreign minister, and another associate called Pache was appointed the military minister. It wasn't wise of the Girondists because both ministers had a history of being unfaithful, especially Dumouriez. Both ministers would abandon the Girondists and leave the party at a critical time of leadership when the party needed to survive in the revolution. Both Dumouriez and Pache would leave the party to disintegrate and flee to the enemy camps. The Girondist party struggled to maintain any order within the party and were later arrested and executed during the Reign of Terror. They failed to act powerfully because they only had bookish knowledge as compared to the Jacobins' practical experience, thus making them fail in practical affairs. Opposition parties like the Paris Commune controlled the powerful presses of Paris and opposed all policies of the Girondists, initially defaming the party. Unfortunately, key political leaders like Pache de Moraes abandoned the party and fled to enemy camps. The Girondists lacked any military power due to their policy and their two key leaders, Pache and de Moraes, abandoning the party. Their lack of political power as a political party was the main reason behind the Girondist downfall. During the Reign of Terror, many leaders of the Girondist party fled to France, but whoever was found was arrested and guillotined by anti-royalists and the revolutions. The Girondist party was eventually completely torn apart and stripped of all power, but Madame Roland wrote her genius Republican ideologies while she was imprisoned. These memoirs will live on forever and inspire post-revolutionary Republicans in France who opposed all the murder and wars that followed within the revolution. Roland's memoirs would be the last surviving documented beliefs of the Girondist party. The Girondists were able to voice politically an anti-war Republican government, but the Paris Commune defamed them and the Jacobins were too powerful. The Jacobins were all about executing those who brought suffering to the people through a weak and corrupt king and ancient regime. The Jacobins had huge numbers and also believed in violence as a sort of action. This quick action would appeal to all the hungry people who wanted change, which ultimately led to their victory. The Girondist party failed to maintain structure and order and peace within their political party during the spontaneous power shift of the monarchy to a constitutional government. Their strongest rival political party, Jacobins, eventually conceded.